We got to get this thing going, Coach.
Yeah, I know, man. We tried to take a day off, a week off for Christmas, and we got to finish this year real strong. So we're going to the next year, right?
Yeah, Coach. Coach, you took a week off, and all hell broke loose, Coach.
Hey, look here, man. I had folks texting me and emailing me and Facebook me, man, and some of them wasn't good, Bishop.
Oh man, they was on you, Coach.
Yeah, but that's okay, Coach, because I'm the coach. See, that's what they don't understand. I'm the coach. I can have it.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. I'm your host, Rocky Miller, along with my other host, Mr. Stephen Campbell. And we have our featured host today, live and in person, a HBCU legend, a SWAC legend, a man that threw 6 touchdowns against playing Willie Totten and Jerry Rice, none other than the TSU legend himself, Johnnie Cole.
What's up? Man, I just want to wish everybody a belated Merry Christmas and definitely a Happy New Year. And, we just want to try to end the year. We started some before we left, Coach Campbell, and I've made some comments about, all these celebrities. And so, I'm here to take it and I'm here to dish it out, and I got my flag. So first and foremost, I want to say that it's no haterade here, and I wish Michael Vick well. I want to start off like I wish Michael Vick well in Norfolk, because black folks supposed to support black folk. But we supposed to also, call it like it is too. Deshaun Jackson at Delaware State, I wish him well. I wish Delaware State well. But one thing, we got a history buff of black college football and Bishop Campbell. We got a bishop man, a businessman, as well as a man with the PWI way. And then you got me. I am the coach. I'm an HBCU graduate. I'm an HBCU coach. Most of my career have been on the black college level, but I have coached on the PWI level. I've coached, done programs at the Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, Chicago. I've won several championships. I also been named Coach of the Year in the SIAC as well as the SWAC. I've coached on every level, from Pop Warner, middle school, high school, of course, in college. So I think I got a great perspective, and I think our platform here have a great perspective of black college football, HBCU. So I'm ready to go, Coach. And let me say this too. And I think, I think between us three, we got the right answers. There's wrong answers, and then there's answers right in the middle. And all this is opinionated. But one thing about it, guys, next year this time, we will tell the tale. So I'm ready to get started.
Hey, Campbell, I'll let you go ahead and go. And I'll just wrap up the intro, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to say, man, listen, we're back. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We're about to bring in a new year, but I'm just going to say something. Coach Cole, Rocky, had a lot of folks, up in arms, boy. They were all saying the coach didn't know what they were talking about, even though, listen what the title say there, SWAC Coach of the Year, SIA Coach of the Year. So we had a lot of people who had never coached telling a coach what they didn't know about coaching. But that's okay, though. But see, that's what we like about this. See, on this show, we allow you to state your opinion without talking bad about your thing like that. Now, Coach, the question was, they said they had your blood pressure up there, Coach. Now, they said your blood pressure was rising. They said that Coach Cole had to go get that medicine off the medicine cabinet. Now, Coach, you just said something to me about pressure. Now, wait a minute now, Coach. What you got to say about the blood pressure was up?
Let me correct you about pressure. See, they don't know nothing about pressure. When 50,000 people screaming, you on the third going in, it's fourth, and about 30 seconds left, and you got to make the call. And I've been in those situations. I've been in those situations against Grambling State down 34-19 in a packed house. and I'm down 34-19 at halftime, and I come back and we come back and win it 38-34. Another time we at the Ohio Valley Conference championship game against Murray State, coach, where we, of course, we won 46-44, but I had to score 34 points in one half to bring us back. So, you know, when you talk about pressure, man, this ain't no pressure, coach. This is what I do. I'm at my best under pressure.
You got to tell them, folks. Coach, I think some people believe that Twitter folks got some clout. That's what always tickles me when I go out there and on social media. It always amazes me when they think that people on Twitter actually have some clout. And they never played, ain't never coached, ain't never donated to their school. You see the background, never gave their school no money, but want to talk about people that have either been there, done it. So listen to one thing about it. We're going to have a real intelligent conversation. We want the people in chat. We're going to make sure we're not going to talk too much. We want a lot of people to call in and everything. And we want, like I said, we're going to talk about these coaching hires and stuff like that. No doubt about it.
And let's say this too, Coach. Man, Michael Vick is a Black American man like we are. And we not, it ain't about him. It ain't about Deshaun Jackson. It's about the process. And we should be able to discuss this process. And we wish both these gentlemen well. You know what I mean? But there's some other Black American men that out there that feels, you know, hey, I'll say it, feel the same way I do. So I feel that I need to represent them and let the Black community hear their side of it too, because they're still in the business. They still trying to get to the next level. So you know, and I'm here to represent that.
You know, Coach, as you say that, and I believe you guys know where I stand, and I stated as a result related to these coaching hires, I'm a celebrity coach guy. I fully understand what a celebrity coach means to these institutions and what kind of notoriety and fanfare these coaches can bring to these institutions. The reason why I am a fan of the SWAC, the reason why I'm a fan of HBCU football now, that's why the reason why I've gotten a world-class education in history from Mr. Campbell and also you, Coach Cole, is because of Deion's introduction into HBCU football. That's what brought me in as a fan. And because of that, I made friends like you, Coach Cole, and also Mr. Campbell. And you guys have not only brought me along as a friend, but you guys have brought me along as a part of the community of HBCU sports at large. And I want to say I appreciate that because, again, before I was just a casual observer, somebody who knew Walter Payton went to Jackson State, who knew Eddie Robinson was the all-time wins leader in Division I football, and he coached at Grambling. I knew all those things, but I didn't know the true history and culture of HBCU football and what it meant to not only Black people, but the history of football as a whole. And so because of you guys is bringing me in and being a co-host on this show, I've learned so much, and my life has been enriched for it. But what I want to say, Coach, also is, I don't want to discount the men who are what I would call career coaches, who are not celebrities, and say that they shouldn't get opportunity. I don't think we should go with exclusively celebrity coaches. But what I will say, the energy and notoriety that has come from these guys, recently hires of Mike Vick and also Deshaun Jackson, I think they will bring people in just like I was brought in when Deion came in.
Well, that's acceptable, Coach. And one thing about Black colleges and HBCUs, what people don't understand. And first of all, we got to stop trying to compare us to the Alabamas, the SEC, the ACC. We not that, But what people don't understand, attendance-wise, HBCU as a 1AA unit, which has 100 other FCS schools that's on our level. We rank number one in attendance. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you, like a president of mine at Lane College, he used to always tickle me. He said, see, Lane coach is a little animal. See, old Texas Southern is a big animal. You know, and at Lane, you know, we can't come out when everybody else is eating. We got to come out and eat what's left over. You know, he said, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Because we're graduating kids and we're moving kids forward. So I want to start with that as well, of saying the first time I hear people say, well, Alabama, you know, or LSU, you know, or, you know, you talking about these, they pay their coaches, Bishop, more than our whole programs. So we can't be them. Stop trying to be them. Be us. I don't know if people even know that. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. We put more people in the Hall of Fame than 90% of the other conferences. You know, and Rocky, man, you were talking off the show about how HBCU have not taken care of themselves of getting HBCU out there. I think Rudy said it better. It's the brand of HBCU. It's not specifically the universities. It's the whole brand that we need to be more of marketing than of saying, you know, going by individual schools. You know, but, you know, the brand, the schools, it's been out there. It's been out there a long time. I think we are getting more recognition across the country, you know, and we want to thank Deion Sanders. You know, I want to take my hat off to him that have brought that type of vision on our schools. So I do want to say that.
You know, Coach, a lot of people were concerned, Coach, about how everybody understand that you're a career coach and you support career coaches. But and also, I think they know that you want what's best for these HBCUs, Coach. And me and you've talked offline, and even Mr. Campbell, I'd like to hear your point on this. When we heard the AD from Alabama A&M talk about him hiring Sam Shade, who was a former NFL player and career coach, so he checks two boxes. My point is saying is he kept saying resources. We need a coach that can bring resources. We need a coach that can bring resources. Right.
Right.
How does the potential of bringing resources, how do you leverage that when thinking about when considering hiring these celebrity coaches? And how much does that you think overshadow the experience that's required for these positions?
Well, you know, see, that's the thing about HBCU coaches or a career coach or somebody that comes through. You know, you have to have seen things about what makes a program go. And see, I look at things at a different lens because I am that guy. You know what I mean? I've coached with great coaches. You know what I mean? I've coached against great coaches. I've seen the crowds in the following. And I think the thing that really between me and you or anybody else that thinks celebrity coaches is I believe that I don't care who you get. If you don't win, I think I leave everything on winning and losing. You know what I mean? You got to be able to come in. So my question to anybody when they start talking about a guest coach is, a celebrity that's a coach, because I don't like calling them celebrity coaches. A coach, a celebrity that's trying to be a coach is what guarantees that he can come in without the knowledge. All right, he don't have the knowledge. He don't have of the theory of what he want to do in a program when he's never been in a program. He's never seen it done before. All he knows is from a player's perspective. He don't understand you got to come from a CEO. You now become a CEO, a business guy. And so it's deeper than just the X's and O's. Every time I hear people talk about these celebrity guys is, oh man, he's just gonna come in and he gonna tell these young men how to get to the top. Well, if that man is 5'11", 270 playing defense end, he definitely ain't going to the NFL. So how you gonna tell him how to get to the NFL? There's only 1% of America get to the NCAA. 1% of football players get to the NFL. You know, how is he gonna explain that? How is he gonna run his budget? How is he gonna run his practice? How is he gonna get to? You just talked about those things on the outside. See, when I was a coach and coach with other people, we done those outside things. You got to go meet those people halfway. They not just gonna come because you're a hero. You know, let's you know, when we look at the black race, we're not patriotic. We're not a patriotic race. We just don't do things to do things. You gotta go touch black folks. How would I know that? Because I've been there. I've seen it as a player. I've seen it as assistant coach. I've seen it as a coordinator. I've seen it at different. I've been to 6, 7 different schools. 5 of them are black schools. You know, I've seen it. So when I'm going in to take over a program, I know where the bathroom is at HBCU school. You ain't got to tell me where's it at. I know where it's at. So when you talk about resource, and to be frankly honest, the things that you're asking these coaches to do should already be set up at your university. So the people that you're already supposed to know, okay, you got to go to the Kiwanis Club. You got to go to this alumni, speak to this alumni. You need to go down to the Chamber of Commerce. Coach, you need to go to the Baptist Preachers Union. You need to take the team to this church. You know, you got to go down to a town meeting down there. You see what I'm saying? Those things should already be set up. But if you ain't never coached before, never been a head coach, you don't even understand. So what are we saying? We're trying to say that this guy is going to take the role in the position of the people on campus that's supposed to be the fundraisers. And then you want him to coach, which all he knows is the X's and O's. So that's kind of that. And I, turn it over to Coach Campbell if you want to, get in there, because I got a whole lot more, Coach.
Well, this is the thing, Coach. I just want to piggyback on that, and I want to. Can we give for people that didn't get to see it? Please go watch Scotty's interview with A.D. Bryant, because what I like with A.D. Bryant, and see, this is where it goes to about education and knowledge. He laid out the perfect reason why Sam Shade was the person for that job. He laid out, and you know what? I like what he said. We do have a celebrity. Sam Shade is a celebrity in Alabama. Sam Shade brings the Alabama tradition and knowledge to Alabama A&M. He did play in the NFL for a lot of people that did not know that. He was a captain of a national championship team. That's a celebrity in Alabama. That's a great pick. And that's why I tried to tell people there's a difference between great fit and then taking a chance like what Norfolk and what potentially Delaware State did. So Sam Shade, so when I heard, and we'll just put it out there just to have a conversation, there was talk that Ray Lewis potentially was going to be the coach. I don't care what anybody says. And Scott, I love him and everything. And he said, well, Mr. Cameron, they bring resource. But I'm going to tell you something. Sam Shade is a better coach than what Ray Lewis. So, yes, would you have people want Ray Lewis autograph? But I tell you one thing. Who would I fear more at FAMU? Because I got to play them every year. I'm going to fear a Sam Shade coach team. Because you know what Sam Shade does? He has coached high school in Alabama. He know all the high school coaches in Alabama. You know what Sam Shade does? He knows the people of Alabama. So when that porter gets jumping, you know what he can do and say? Hey, well, Sam, I tell you what, they can't come to Alabama, but there's a kid that I think would fit over there at Alabama and A&M. That's the thing about it. And so we're talking about resources. That is resources. Resources ain't always money. It's also knowledge, Coach. It's also knowledge.
Sam Shade is a great example, Coach, of doing it the right way. Me and him talk all the time. He's a great coach. He has a great staff. I've said that earlier. You know what he told me? He said, Coach, man, when they were talking to me about off the field things, like you were talking about, Rocky, he said, man, I learned so much from high school. In high school, the head coaches and them go out and do fundraisers, which when I was at the junior college up in Kansas, we did fundraisers in the community. So, but I learned that from going through a junior college stance, and I forgot I coached at junior college. But that's how you learn, man. Throwing people, you like throwing these guys in the water full of sharks, man, and telling them, oh, don't worry about it. You fished at the pond down the way, and you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be tough.
Well, I just want to say this again. I understand those are very serious concerns that one would have before hiring a professional head coach at a university. But at the end of the day, and Mr. Campbell, this is the reality. Sam Shade was a tremendous hire. Matter of fact, and I said, I called into Scotty's show and said this with all due respect to all the other coaches that were hired during this coaching cycle and those coaches that will be hired during this coaching cycle. I said Sam Shade, I believe, is the best hire during this coaching cycle. And that's withstanding the coach at Prairie View, who I think very highly of, your protege, Tremaine Jackson, Mr. Campbell. I mean, Mr. Coach Cole, he's your protege. And so my point in saying that is, but when Sam Shade was hired, it didn't make the ticker on ESPN. There were no notifications on my ESPN app of Sam Shade being hired. And at the end of the day, it may not mean anything as it relates to wins and losses, right? But it does resonate with people not only in Alabama, not only in Delaware, not only in Virginia, but that resonates with people all over the nation. And for that, Norfolk and Delaware State can capitalize on that fame and notoriety of their head football coaches.
Coach, let me respond to this. I need somebody to raise their hand and let me know when a ticker has won a football game. I'm Coach Ticker. Please, I need Coach Ticker to put the StreamYard link up because we need Coach Ticker to tell me. Now, Rocky, you are a primate. Now we listen. I had no problem with the primates. I'm the one that made the term primate. Okay, I had no problem. Now we got a black coach coaching right now, James Franklin, that's getting ready to win a playoff game. We had Coach Prime with all that fanfare and everything, and they got blown out by BYU. Coaching still matters, Rocky. See, all that, and like I said, this ain't no shade to Dion. This is not. But this goes back to Coach Cole's point. So for all that, Dion had every resource he wanted. I ain't hard to find. He got probably the number 1 pick and the number 3 pick at worst or at best. And guess what? You have some Mormons that straight Dion danced on him because that coach that has coached for a long time out-coached his team. Okay? So see, that's what I'm saying. So while that looks good, you know what everybody cares about? Because I'm going to tell you this. If Alabama A&M has a national championship, Sam Shade is going to be a celebrity. If Tremaine Jackson brings a national championship, he will be a celebrity. So while it looks good on the ticker, that is style over substance. That's my only thing about that. So give me a guy that's going to give me something. So like I said, I want Michael Vick to do well. I want Deshaun Jackson. But the reason why when you say that, the Tickers never won a national championship.
Here's it's to us. It's to this. You know, I get it, guys. I get it. You know, but it's to us. Sam Shade is a great. This model of going to hire pro coaches is nothing new. I coached under a NFL coach, but he had coaching experience. He was an offensive coordinator at the Rams. He was the receiver coach at Steelers. I want my artists to go pull up a guy named Lionel Taylor. Lionel Taylor. They said he changed the game. He changed the NFL game. He played for the Broncos. He played for Chicago back in the day. Look up Lionel Taylor. All right. And matter of fact, you'll see me a glimpse on that tape. But I'm saying at the end of the day, guys, it just don't look good to me. All right, here's the deal. Again, I told y'all, I look at it, my lens is different. I get into this business of coaching. I wanted to coach on the Division 1A level. That was one of the things. They say, oh, you got to dress well. You got to cut your hair. You got to speak well. Well, I've done that and worked on that. You got to graduate from school. I've done that. All right. They moving the chain. Then next, I come, oh, well, you got to network. These are my PWI teams that I want to go join. Then they say, oh, man, we can't hire you. We can't hire you because there's only 2 positions for black coaches. One on offense, one on defense. This was just in the 80s, okay? Again, and you can talk to other coaches that's been around as long as I was, all right? So we done that. So finally they started letting some black coaches in. But there's only been 3 coaches from HBCU to be able to go coach at a PWI. And one of those are a white guy, okay? Stay with me. So now, we got these young guys that looked up to me and Eddie Robinson and Doug Williams and Rob Broadway to say, man, I want to be a Doug Williams. I want to get an HBCU school and I want to move it to the next level. Now, all of a sudden, the PWIs have let a couple of us in, not HBCU guys or black coaches from our conference, let a couple in, and it still ain't even close. You know, on the overall of football programs, about 72% are African Americans. But when you come to a head coach, you're looking at about 92% are Caucasians, and about 8 to 10% are African Americans. So now I graduate, I do everything, I get my master's, I'm ready to go, man. Some HBCU jobs are opening up, man, I'm ready to go. You know what they tell us? Oh, no. You have to have coached at a PWI school. You got too much black schools behind you. Now I said, okay, let me go get a position job somewhere. All right. Now I'm ready to go. I'm HBCU. I'm an African American coach. Man, these jobs popping up again. Excuse me, man. You didn't play in the NFL, did you? What? Well, I can't go back to the NFL because I'm an old man now. Then now it's not only do you have to play in the NFL, you've had to be a celebrity in the NFL. So the PWIs is not moving the flag. Who's moving the flag? Our schools are moving the flag. They're moving the flag, and they're moving the flag out of the way of people like me that have chose to go to HBCUs, have chose to go and do the right thing and learn as much as I can learn and bring my knowledge back to the school, who paid for my food, dormitories, matriculated me through, taught me everything to say, if you leave and you understand and let me lead you, man, it's a reward at the end of the game. Now what is it? What is it? And that's what's happening, and that's how these guys are feeling. I mean, I get calls from a lot of great coaches who I came through the PWIs, from your Comagis to your Bill Hayeses to your LC Coles to your Doug Williams, and they feel in the same way, you know. So that's why I gotta stand up, you know. And as you say, I think Sam Shade is a great. I think Jermaine Jackson is a great one. And those 2 guys, you watch. Like I said, when December comes, we gonna see.
This is a question. You muted, Mr. Campbell.
Rocky, let me set this question up. First of all, this is my nephew Lionel. Hey man, this young man, is doing it on his channel. PB versus everybody. When everybody go subscribe, he's gonna have Jermaine Jackson on the 5th with their new coach. But I think this is a great question that he's asking. And Rocky, this question is for you and Coach. Maybe you can go into, you know, even on the opposite side of it, or your opinion on this. What does it mean to capitalize on the hire of a celebrity coach? And can you go into detail on that? So Rocky, yeah, in your opinion, what does that mean?
So when I talk about capitalize on the hire as a celebrity coach, what I'm talking about is have a strategic plan, a strategic rollout that is able to capitalize on the fame of the coach. You guys at FAMU used a strike tour, right? Where y'all went all over the nation viewing, seeing, had the head coaches. I don't know if y'all did it with Cozy, but I know y'all did it with Willie Simmons, where y'all went all over the country to different alumni groups all over the nation, soliciting donations with with Willie Simmons,
Yeah.
and you guys raised a substantial amount of money. I'm saying that if you're able to do that with Deshaun Jackson, you could do that with Mike Vick. There are other business partners that you can leverage because of their previous relationships that they had as NFL players, right? That you can leverage. So again, there are people in NFL circles and maybe even at Virginia Tech and the University of California, right? Cal Berkeley, who have an investment in their alumni being successful, that you can leverage that for donations and benefits for the players at Norfolk and Norfolk University. There are partnerships there where they want their alumni to be successful. So again, there are a lot of different ways to capitalize on the fame of these celebrity coaches. None of this is groundbreaking, as you know, or you don't have to create any of it. All of these blueprints are there. And I mentioned it I mentioned this to Coach Cole during the conversation we had. I'm like, the reality is Alabama and other colleges don't have to hire celebrity coaches, because once they get hired, their coach becomes a celebrity, right? The coach at Alabama is a celebrity. The coach at the University of Florida is a celebrity. However, when they do hire a big name coach like a Jim Harbaugh, when they do hire a big name coach like a Nick Saban, right? They immediately parlay that into excitement for the fan base, and they end up having capital campaigns, donations, and things like that to create a monetary gain for the school, because they have to pay these coaches. They may as well capitalize on these coaches' notoriety and fame, right? And so they solicit capital campaigns to improve, whether it be facilities, whether it be, nowadays, you have the NIL component, so they could use the coaches' notoriety to fund NIL campaigns. Again, Deion is a prime example. Colorado has made tremendous amounts of money on them hiring Deion, probably 10x on what they've paid him as a coach, right? And I think that Norfolk State and Delaware State should use a similar blueprint to promote their football programs and benefit their institutions. And we have a call whenever you guys are ready.
Rocky, let me just real quick before you go to the caller. A couple of things. So with that being said, so I'm expecting you, because you have now put an additional checklist on these coaches. So when we check back a year from now and the facilities ain't no better, the money ain't being raised, okay?
Is that the coach's fault?
So we can hold them accountable, because see, Sam Shea and them shouldn't have that, because they're not a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? They just grinded, working hard. And Tremaine Jackson, because what you just said was these guys have these relationships. So a year from now, when the Celebration Bowl is over, FAMU has gotten back on top, and we had to close the end of the show, I want to make sure that I bring this up. I'm going to pitch my, and I'm going to say this again. And this is the thing. Deion, to me, does not count, because Deion is one of one. Deion has always been one of one. He was one of one.
But he has to count, though.
No, let me tell you the reason why. No, because
at least not from Colorado.
Yeah, well,
Colorado
I won't say it, because let me tell you something. Listen, there are singers, but there's only one Beyonce. You see what I'm saying? So my point of it is, you can't say, and it's not fair to Deshaun Jackson to say Deshaun Jackson is Deion. Does he have the same celebrity clout that Deion had? Of course not. So you can't say that he's Deion. Even with Michael Vick, to Michael Vick's level, there's a thing, because Deion's track record of just being around, Deion has several generations that he has. I think Michael Vick comes close to it, but I don't think Deshaun Jackson comes to that level where he can just pick up the phone and say, I'm Deshaun Jackson. Because I'll tell you this right now, if we just did a quick poll, right? And you just said, hey, people, tell us the best season, or tell me something that Deshaun Jackson did. You remember that punt return, but he ain't like, man, Deion got things. that go all the way back to college, World Series, running back punts. You know what I'm saying? This goes back 30, 40 years. So my point of it is I want us to level set our expectation because you're putting that on those guys, and I'm going to hold you to it. So, all right. So I just want to put that out there.
Well, let me say this before we get to the caller. I'm not saying that's even the coach's job, Mr. Campbell. I'm not saying that's the coach's job. I'm saying that's why these guys were hired, Mr. Campbell.
You made it, but it's part of their job now because that's the reson why. If they don't have that, do they get hired? Because that's what part of their hiring.
No.
Okay, so that's part of
Hey, you don't let me walk off my IT job and just start coaching because I want to coach. That's not how this works.
You gotta hold. So that's what I'm saying. You can't separate it. That's part of the bag. That should be in their bag. That's part of their bag. So you can't say,
no. What I'm saying is,
gotta count that.
It's okay. So this is my point, Mr. Cameron. I talked to Coach Cole about this. Yeah, you can put it as part of their bag, but they're not the person that executes on capitalizing on their fame. They don't execute it. The administration and the staff, the organizational staff has to execute a plan to capitalize on their fame and notoriety. Like they don't.
Didn't I just say earlier that our administrations don't understand and these things supposed to be in place and they're not in place because our administrators don't understand that. You got doctors of education that don't understand the business part of making money. You got doctors of athletic directorship that don't understand how to go make the money. These things are in place at these PWIs, even on our level. If you go to Murray State, Northwestern, any of those schools on the FCS level, those things are already in motion. Like you said, Rocky, they are. And see, you think like a businessman, Rock. That's why you on here. You giving the perspective of this, and that should help them with this celebrity coach. But those things are not in place. And the thing about Deion, let's talk about Deion. Deion has been a billboard since he returned punts at Florida State. If he don't know something, Deion know how to gravitate people to him. He got that. He understands that. And when he went to Jackson State, that's how he elevated Jackson State from averaging 30,000 fans to 42,000. And you got to have that as a coach. You know what I mean? You got to be able to get in front of that microphone and sell yourself and sell that school. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. And I'm going to say it. Maybe now these boards over these colleges should start picking a doctor of marketing or a doctor of finance, and putting them in these positions, like you saying, Rocky, and be able to reach out to those avenues to raise money. Then now I might need a celebrity guy to come in and coach. But I'm gonna get a Sam Shade who know how to go out and sell myself, but then I'm gonna win on the football field. Because at the end of the day, I keep saying that, at the end of the day, it's about W's and L's.
All right. I think we got Johnny Thornton on the line. Johnny, are you there?
Thornton, you better call back, man.
Hold on. Let me. I may have
KJ said that you got two people talking to, and let me tell you something, man. Say if I know KJ, she gonna be around there giving folks that work. So, Rocky, make sure she's talking to the right person. I don't want her to hurt nobody's feelings.
No. They on the line with each other. They just not on here. Let me disconnect and repair this right quick. Repair this. All right. But now, go ahead, Coach.
Here's another thing, and I'm gonna say this. Just the other day I was looking at my Facebook page, and some things started popping up on my Facebook page. And I don't know if should I bring it up. It's about the dog situation.
No, Cole. Let me tell you something.
Okay, I'll leave that.
Cole, let me tell you, because that's going to muddle your discussion of what you're trying to say.
Well,
I would say it at a higher level than at a specific level. That's
what I was going to was the sponsorship.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm going to. Okay, and when I seen that, I started saying, wow. So if I'm Coca-Cola and I love Vic and I love what he want to do, you see
I'm
what I'm
good.
saying?
So
Now
you
I got
good.
to look at that thing two ways. Yeah, I want to donate this money, but then, I got these other folk. You see what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
lot of, and it's just like the racial thing. You know what I mean? Somebody make a racial slur, like Kanye West made the Jew slur. Then all of a sudden, he went from a billionaire to a 200 or 300 millionaire. So, those things that you got to think about, when we think that things are just gonna be automatic. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get people to understand. It ain't just gonna be automatic. I see what you're saying, Rocky, and you thinking from a business aspect. And where you thinking is, yeah, guys, and before we met, hey, look, we're gonna bring this celebrity guy. We need to have avenues in place that we're gonna take advantage of this. I just don't see it at HBCU schools.
Hey, Johnny, are you there? Hold on.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you get. But Coach, I want to talk
Hold on.
about
Let me
this
see something.
because we've heard about this business pulling back from DEI, right, Coach? We heard a
Oh,
lot
can
about
y'all
that.
hear me?
We can hear you, Rocky. I tell you, why don't you go on mute while you try to fix that?
Go ahead.
That's all
Yeah.
paired up.
Yeah. So
Hold on, let me
the thing
see.
about this, Coach, is when you're talking about these corporations, so there are forces out there that are going to be negative towards Michael Vick.
Yes.
So because we
It ain't
know
Johnnie Cole
here's
now.
the thing about those forces, Coach. They're disingenuous because it's not real concern. So that's the thing about what you're saying. They're taking something that there's really no concern. It's about anti-blackness. So the thing about this is what has to happen. And again, with any of our coaches, any of our youth, hey man, we got to support our own. You know what I mean? We've got to find people that want to partner with us, that understand our mission, no matter who the coach is. And that goes back to your point. That does go to the administration. Because in the AD's job description, fundraising is in the job description.
You got ADs now that make just as much as coaches, 250,000, 225,000. An athletic director that at the end of the day can't even raise that kind of money, and that's tough. But I understand the head coach's role as well. You know what I mean? And the AD and the head coach has to work together. But unfortunately, HBCU schools, they don't have those avenues. You know what I mean? If you're talking about a celebrity, let's hire a celebrity athletic director. Let's start doing that. You know what I mean? I mean that to me is somebody that can be able to go out and has charisma, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and be able to bring some money to the program. But then, coach, as you know, I keep saying, whoever he brings in as that coach has to back him up by doing what, Mr. Bishop?
Got to win.
Got to win. You got to win, man. You got to win, coach.
But hey, Coach, now I see a comment, and Pacifico says Isaiah Bolden was drafted. Well, you know who also was drafted? Jacoby Durant in a higher round because he was at South Carolina State and he played. So listen, Dion brought things, but let me tell you something. First of all, and Coach will tell you this: if you can play, you will get drafted. Sometimes players don't get drafted. So I don't want it to be a magic elixir to say that because X, because we've had players forever that have gotten drafted and they did not have a celebrity coach. It is about talent. It's about your production on the field. So come on, I'm not going to allow people to do that. And like I said, hey man, he's a great player. He was an amazing player. He deserved to get drafted. And I'm going to tell you something about that young man, and no disrespect to Dion. That young man was a football player. I tell you what, if T.C. Taylor was coaching that young man, he would have got drafted. He was a great player at this level. So we got to, say, well, because that was the case, that Jackson State would have had a bunch of kids drafted. You can't make people get drafted.
Well, let me say something, Kalen Shevis, about hiring Kellen Winslow. He is absolutely right. They hired Kevin Winslow at Central State of Ohio, and he was exactly right. They didn't get nothing out of it. That's why, guys, any successful university, man, will hire their own. I'm not saying every job. They will hire their qualified own They got some skin in the game, man. We just do things. We should do things a little bit different on the HBCU level. But we always getting caught up with thinking that their ice is better than our ice. You know, you talk about celebrity, Coach. Everywhere I've been, the alumni and the fans made me feel like a celebrity. From buying me tailor-made suits to paying for my groceries to just to see you out. It's nothing like it, man. It's no feeling like it. I mean, Alabama State, man, was one of the greatest
Hey,
places
can you hear me?
Coach there.
Hey, caller, can you hear?
We okay?
No.
Hell, when I was at Texas Southern, one of the greatest places I've been in Houston, guys, it doesn't take that. It takes a guy who have learned the business, who have put time in, who have been to some places to discover who he is and what kind of program he wants. You just can't get a guy because he was in a movie or something, and then all of a sudden now, you know, I think it degrades what being a head football coach on a Division I, AA college level. And I think people are laughing at us when we do things like that. You get it, Coach?
You might have to drop that link.
Yeah. That's what I'm. Yeah, I'll.
Just drop the link and he can come. Huh?
I'll make it simple. I'll make it simple for everybody. Go ahead. All right.
I think I hear him.
You hear him?
No.
No, I don't think you hear him. Go ahead. Yeah. But yeah, I'll end this. And we'll do it like this.
You guys click that link, come on up. You don't have to show your face if you have a couple of drinks, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. We still hear you.
Hey, what we say, we know it's the holiday, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, if you ain't looking all, all pretty, you know what I'm saying? You're chilling, watching the game. It's okay. You ain't got to show your face. We just want to hear what you got to say. We just really want to hear y'all to tell Rocky that he's wrong. That's really why we want to hear it. Tell Rocky that he's wrong. And
here we go.
Correct. That's what it is. We're trying to go into the new year correct.
Hey, him and Scotty. I'm calling Scotty out too. Him and Scotty.
All right. If I can't hear you this time, it ain't meant for you to say nothing.
Well, it must be meant for me to speak to you today. How are you, Rock?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing, KJ?
I'm doing fine. Hey, okay, so a few things, and all right. I'm glad that we do have newcomers to the space like you, Rocky. But I think you all would benefit. I know you and I listen to you and Scotty, and you do it all the time, and you talk about, well, that's that Negro stuff. That's that, this, that, and the other. But the things that you all dismiss is that, first of all, when you get these coaches that come into, like, even when you're talking about media deals, right? You want to use their celebrity. Oh, the swag should capitalize on this to do that. You've got this star power, blah, blah, blah. That is not how this works. You still are dealing with deeply systemic. You talk about the old guard of HBCUs. We're dealing with the old guard of network television and media. Okay. That it's not in their interest to pay HBCUs more for their product anyway, to give them more visibility anyway. So that's kind of the first thing that you're dealing with, right? So even if you bring in a Michael Vick or a Deshaun Jackson or an Ed Reed, they're coaching the games. They're not playing in the games. They'll bring some eyeballs or visibility, but even Deion Sanders only brought so much. They only put him up so high because he is coaching the game. He's not playing in it. It's not box office the way that you're capturing that white audience. And I'm sorry, even if you capture some more eyeballs for a limited amount of time, you are not capturing that large white audience, that viewership that's going to get you those higher level of media deals. You got smaller schools getting more eyeballs and attention simply because they are white schools. If Deion Sanders thought that it was truly possible for, his sons to be elevated, for Shador to be elevated to a place where, he's getting even mentioned in Heisman conversation in a real way. If he thought that type of thing was possible, even with his celebrity, he would have stayed at JSU. He thought there was no way possible on this earth that by his son staying at Jackson State and playing in the SWAC and being on ESPN2 or whatever else, even with his celebrity, even with the little hype, and the viewership that they got on YouTube, that still didn't translate to viability, credibility in the white majority. It just didn't. And so I don't really understand why you all think that hiring these celebrities, like that don't even have the cachet of a Deion Sanders, because that's a one-time thing. If he couldn't do it, if he didn't think he could do it for his own very exceptionally talented son, if he didn't think he could get him where he needed to be by keeping him in this space, what on earth makes you think that HBCUs can negotiate for these huge media deals simply by having somebody like Deshaun Jackson or a Michael Vick on their sidelines? Simply by, you have to change the entire, first of all, the SWAC and the MEAC would have to be consistently stronger, would have to be 10 times better than than those white conferences that you think of at the P4 and P5 level, for people to even give them any type of credence or credibility and say, you know what, they're pretty good. I think I'll tune in. Then the entire leagues would have to be consistently that good. You don't get that by a flash in the pan hire like a Mike Vick and a Deshaun Jackson, who are just there for a limited time. People know they aren't really committed to the mission. When you have your pundit friends in the media saying things like, oh, they'd like to be considered for this job, they'd like to be considered for that job, like Deion was, they knew those guys weren't staying, that they weren't committed to the mission, that this wasn't about leveling a playing field or elevating HBCUs. They're there for themselves.
Well, KJ, let me say something, and because I believe in what HBCUs have to offer is something very unique as an entertainment product. It shouldn't have to be marketed as the same way that Alabama and Michigan and Ohio State. This is something for black people by black people. And again, I've been to a few homecomings over the past several years, a SWAC championship, whatever. What you guys have to offer in the HBCU space is so very unique to the black experience in America. You guys take it for granted, but it is a very unusual occurrence for most black people in America. Like to have 30 or 40,000 black people in one space celebrating, having a good time, no ninja stuff, happening, just truly enjoying the moment, enjoying the history, enjoying the culture. And in the midst of a competition, is something absolutely sensational. And that in and of itself can be marketed and shown in a way that it could go from a 30, 40,000 people gathering to possibly $100,000, $200,000 gathering. That's just how impactful and unique that experience that you guys really, in a lot of ways, I think y'all take for granted within the HBCU space.
But Coach,
I think some people take it for granted, but sorry, Coach Cole, 1 second. I think some people take it for granted, but honestly, I don't really think it's us that takes it for granted. I think it's people like you that take it for granted, because as soon as something like, listen, Deion Sanders was here. He was highlighting that culture. He was highlighting, how great it is, how grand it is. And as soon as he started perpetuating other narratives about Jackson State, because let's be honest, he did, and those close to him did, we had same black people like you saying again, oh, I knew N-words, couldn't do this, black people, we can't do that, blah, blah, blah. I ain't gonna never support nothing else JSU does. I hope they fail, blah, blah, blah. Laughing, point at like, oh, Colorado is better and things like that. I don't really think it's the HBCU community that doesn't think that we're marketable or that we are great or that it's a unique product. I honestly think that it is black people that don't value black things and black products at a high clip like they do your Bama or it's even more special. A culture that we have created, but you will see, I saw more black people running out buying Colorado gear. Couldn't wait to wear it. Going out buying bus gear. Ain't never seen a buffalo, ain't never seen a mountain. Ain't never been to college. But they ran out there. It was easy to buy JSU there was JSU paraphernalia all over the place. We have our ways that you can purchase it and that you can market. So it wasn't just that. It was that black people felt, you know what? White people are acknowledging Deion in this way. I can get behind this because this is a unheard of thing. This is a big time thing. And Colorado ain't ish when it comes to football and in the grand scheme of things. But we still had black people that placed a higher value on Deion Sanders being at Colorado. Go Buffs that ain't never heard of no damn Colorado Buffaloes before. But when he was at Jackson State, you couldn't get them to purchase a ticket. You couldn't get them to attend the game. You couldn't get them to buy JSU paraphernalia because they don't value it the same. So we can get black people to start valuing black things in the way that they value white things. I even heard people like you calling JSU the Chitlin circuit. Like, seriously? How are we as HBCU alums supposed to change mindsets and mentalities?
Well, one AJ, to piggyback on what you say, it's hard to write people. Everything starts from the top. We had a business guy on about 2 weeks ago named Rudy Johnson. It starts from the top. And we got to put people in place to do just what you say, value our schools, go out and make those contacts and make those things happen and look at the HBCU brand instead of individual schools. It's just we could take the same model that the SEC took, Notre Dame took, now all the other conferences take it, of putting a package together of all of our classics, where every week there's 40, 50, 60,000 people. Orange Blossom City Classic, Labor Day Classic, Magic City Classic, and sell that. But the problem is, like you said, KJ, I don't even think that we value athletics. We're still in the envy stage, because back in the day, we just started playing at white schools in the 70s. And then in the 80s, our administrators started wanting to take over all the way through the 90s, where the football coach used to be the guy on campus to now he ain't the guy,
Yeah.
So instead of us so busy on trying to find a guy I can tell what to do, we getting rid of our winning coaches or putting them on the shelf and now saying, oh, the coach that comes in, let's get a celebrity coach because then this is going to happen. I think our people at the top need to get off their ass and go out and start with the smart thinking, as Rocky says so diligently, about touching these people. But we got to do it as the HBCU brand instead of each different university. Delaware State been a perennial loser for years. They've had some ups and downs.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.